My name is Donna. I'm the chair of the committee, and other committee members present is Cormac Flynn, Anthony Wong, Carter Booth, Lois Rakoff, Dr. Shirley Smith. So this is a new location for us for our meeting. So welcome, everybody. Hope you didn't have a problem finding it. We'll see how this goes. As a reminder, check our calendar every month because we're going to be here a lot of the time, but not all of the time. It's in flux, so just make sure you do that. If there is anyone here for 470 Broome Cafe, I think basically everybody who's here is an applicant almost, right? So that one is laid over. We're not going to hear that one tonight. So the way this works is I'll go through the applications. I'll call up the applicant. The applicant will come up to we have a podium. The applicant will come to the podium and present their application to the committee. The committee will then ask questions. You can respond to those questions, please. And then we will go to any members of the public. We will hear all of the members of the public members address the committee also. And then the applicant has the opportunity to respond to anything they heard to the committee from what the public said. I ask that there's no back and forth. I ask that everybody speak respectfully to each other and be sure to use the microphones, everybody. I think that does it. I think we have a number of applications that we've waived appearance on, but I'll go through those at the end because there's no reason to take everybody's time on that. So the first application, and then there are agendas up here, and I'll take things somewhat in order, but not necessarily. So the first application is Lab 2 Restaurant, 88 West 3rd Street. This is a restaurant wine. If you could come up. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening. I'm from Lab 2 Restaurant Incorporated. Address is 88 West 3rd Street, New York, 10012. We are a sushi restaurant. It's about 20 seats, 550 square foot, first floor and the basement as well. So it's a sushi restaurant. We are applying for beer and wine licenses.
And what is your name and how are you affiliated with them?
My name is Chiman Leung and I'm the owner of the restaurant.
Okay, great.
It's between Thompson's and Sullivan.
Yeah. Okay, and the hours are?
Hours are Monday to Thursday, 12 noon to 10 p.m.
Okay.
Fridays and Saturday, 12 noon to 11:30 p.m.
Okay, not Thursday, just Friday and Saturday, 11:30. I think the questionnaire said
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm sorry.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Right.
Okay.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 12 to 11:30.
Okay,
PM.
and then when we say 11:30, that means all patrons are out by that
Right,
time.
we're closed the door
Everything's
by then,
closed down.
yes.
Okay, okay. And there's no outside. Is there any outside
There's
seating?
no outdoor seatings,
Any TVs?
no TV.
Background music or
Some background music, regular restaurant music.
no live music,
live
no
music.
DJs,
No DJ.
no patrons downstairs?
No, only one floor.
Okay. And okay, I'm just seeing if the people that, okay.
Okay.
And it was previously a Japanese restaurant.
Yes,
Before with
continued to be.
basically the same sort of hours and everything.
Same
Are you
concept.
already in there or no?
Excuse me?
Are you already in?
We're not open yet.
You're not open yet. Okay. I think that is it for how many tables, seats? It's,
It's 10 seats at the sushi counter and 5 tables. So it's
And-
about 20 seats altogether.
okay. I think that is it for my questions. Does anybody have anything? Go ahead, Lois. You have a,
Hello.
you,
I live around, is it working?
Yes, I hear you. Fine.
I live around the corner on Thompson and West 3rd.
Oh, wow.
So welcome.
Thank you.
And I know that it was a omasaka before, and I'm going to ask you the price points of your the omasaka, and do you also have a la carte? And what are the price points also on your wine and beer and sake?
So actually, we have a restaurant in Williamsburg right now that is running for about a year. We just really transitioning the same menu to West 3rd Street. So our price point is for lunch, we're offering $78 for 10 courses of sushi. For dinner, we offer two different menus, $100 and $150.
My colleague wants to know what is the difference between the $100 and the 150, and then tell us about the drinks.
$100 comes with one appetizer, 13 pieces of sushi, and a temaki, which is half a hand roll. $150 is more like a complete dinner. 3 appetizers, 13 pieces of sushi. You get a hand roll, you get a rice dish, and you get a dessert. So it's more like a complete dinner.
Public experience, but I did read about it.
Yes.
So, what was my thought? About the wine and the beer and the sake, could you tell us about those
Well,
price points, please?
We don't have a price point set yet because we don't know what beer and wine we have figured out. But price point is it should be about $5 to $6 for a beer. We offer craft sake. The one in Williamsburg is about $25 per craft. So I think
How many ounces are in your carafe?
12 ounces.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And welcome, I hope I come.
Thank you. Hope I see you there.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody else from the committee have any questions? Okay, I think that does. So the way this works, we give you a stipulation. The office will send out stipulations. It basically says your hour. Okay, so your hours and all of that. I think we'll just change the hours to 11 and 12, so
okay.
it matches what was there before. But you're under no obligation to stay open that late, but at least you don't have to come back. You know.
Okay.
Excuse
for a
me,
little bit of
Donna,
difference.
I remember, what is your policy on reservations and walk-ins?
We do both. We do reservations and walk-in. We take walk-ins as well.
Okay, and is there a deposit when you make a reservation?
No, because we do it on the Resi app.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a deposit, but they take your credit card to reserve a table.
Okay,
So it's not a deposit, but they do charge a amount for no show.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that, you know, basically just says your music level, your hours, no DJs, all of that.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you so much.
okay, thank you. Welcome. Okay, next application is PST Health LLC, doing business as Lifetime Natural Market at 408 6th Avenue. Yeah. Anything in here that's not in what you sent to the community board office? No. Okay. And then updated drawing, is that in here for the second floor? Okay, great. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, good evening. I'm Sasha Barnett, and I'm representing PST Health, DBA Lifetime Natural Market, located at 408 6th Avenue 10011. That's between West 8th and 9th Street. So Lifetime's been a market in the community for about almost 30 years. And recently we've decided to open up a dine-in cafe on the second floor, offering regional farm dining menu and crop to keg craft beers. We are planning to have an operation that dines about 48 at a time. Opening hours will be 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., offering a brunch menu on Saturdays and Sundays. Being that currently the store is not open past 9:30, we plan to have our last seating at 8 o'clock. Gates should be down by 10:15 p.m.
Okay, so from what we said before, when we say hours, we mean all out. So
Yes.
that would be not 8 o'clock, because I think the questionnaire says 8 o'clock, so that would be,
Well, the store closes at 10:30, but we'll still have a store operating below until 9:30.
uh-huh,
So guests that are dining should be out prior to the closing of the store.
okay. Okay, so 9:30.
I would say 10:15. Let's do to be safe
10.
for a dining
So that's,
experience
so,
that starts
but,
at
so
8.
the store closes at 9:30.
The supermarket.
Right, I know that, I've been in there many times, so I'm familiar with the space. So the supermarket area closes, but the gates don't go down. But you want all the dining patrons leaving by,
10:15.
so why don't we just say 10, just to
Yes.
make it a round number? Okay,
Okay.
okay. What else? Is the applicant here?
No, I'm representing.
You're
applicant.
so the applicant is not
No.
here. Okay. We like to have the applicant here. I'm just going to say.
Okay.
Normally, we ask that the applicant be here along with the representative.
Okay.
Is that what you, okay, music is
Standard radio, restaurant, store music.
background, any
Background music.
TVs,
No TVs.
no outside,
No outdoor seating, no indoor bar service. Everything will be serviced at the table.
seated
at the dining
table. And
seated
are you
table.
going to have wait staff
Yes.
then? So, and then do you still have, will you still have the food downstairs that people
Yes.
take to go? So that the downstairs part isn't
Downstairs, it
changing.
doesn't change.
Okay. And the kitchen is
On the
there
second
on the
floor,
second floor on the other half
on
of
the
the
other
second
half,
floor.
because it's two buildings together. So in the other side.
Okay, and the bathroom is on the second floor.
Yes.
Okay, I think that does it with my questions. Cormac? Please.
Pull that is an addition to the application, just showing you what you should have. That's not actually our. That was provided with the application to give an example of that submit to the committee. Slowly transitioning. So yes, everything will be moved downstairs. We'll still offer the same groceries and items that were once upstairs, downstairs. No. You're welcome.
Does anybody else have anything, Lois?
Love the place.
Thank you.
And I know you've been doing takeout as well. And I know around Thanksgiving as well, you could take out meals. So this seems to be very welcome. And I do have a question about, will the food be organic?
Everything will be regionally sourced. As for the cafe menu, we are working on trying to have a New York state sourced menu. And that's where that's where the beer and the wine comes in, because we're going to also have regionally state beer and wine, regionally crafted wine and beer.
And will that be organic wine and beer?
Yes, everything
Good.
organic.
And the other question, will you vegan? You'll have vegan
Yes,
offerings?
there'll be vegan options as
And what
well.
about reservations?
We are planning to have if you look at the blueprint, the first half of the walk-in upstairs, we're planning to have that as a walk-in area and the second half a dining area.
And are you
Restroom.
doing Thanksgiving?
Well, we always, Thanksgiving, yes. Nothing will change with Lifetime. The cafe will operate completely
Love it.
different from
Thank
Lifetime
you.
Market.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? No, no. Okay, great. When is it supposed to?
We're hoping late spring.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. Okay, for anybody new who's come in, please make sure you sign in. If you're here from the public, please fill out a speaker card and hand it to me. We have agendas up here. I'm taking things out of order slightly. Okay, the next one is going to be Pora Foods LLC at 469 6th Avenue. This is an on-premise for restaurant.
Good evening, Chairwoman
Hi.
and the committee members. My name is Samuel An. I'm the lawyer from An & G LLP. I'm representing Pora Foods LLC. Chairperson, I make a correction. The applicant is Pora Foods LLC.
Okay.
Okay, if I may.
Oh, I see what you're saying. We had Inc. and it's LLC.
Right.
Okay, yes.
Next to me is Mr. Han. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Pora Foods. And he'll be more or less running the premises.
Okay. And what is his first name?
DONG, Dong.
DONG?
Yes.
Okay. Han is the last name.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
The premises will be primarily a ramen restaurant. It was a ramen restaurant before. They went out of business. Dong is going to try to open another ramen restaurant and hopefully do a better job of staying in business.
That would be the hope.
The premises is about 2,000 square feet. On the ground floor, there's about 1,000 square feet in the basement. The seating is about 45 persons. There's a small bar for 9 people. There's 2 food counters seating 5 persons each, total of 10. Table seats are about 26. The alcohol that's being served here is primarily cocktails, Asian cocktails. With ramen, the whiskey stuff like that doesn't sell. It's got to be more like Japanese cocktails, Asian cocktails, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
The hours are going to be Sunday to Wednesday, 11 a.m. to midnight. Thursday to Saturday, it's going to be to 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. The hours are the same as the prior tenant that was on the premises. The special thing that Dong has to offer in this restaurant is that the flour comes from Japan, and the broth is also handmade. Everything is going to be made from scratch at the premises. Mr. Han has locations in Maryland and New Jersey, and this is going to be the first location here in Manhattan. Talking about menu, the price points for the ramen are $14 to about $16. Appetizers go from $5 to $8. The drinks are nominal. They range from $2 to about $4. Alcohol, we have not gotten the price point yet. I think
Okay.
that's all I have for now.
Okay, there's no operable doors and windows in
No,
the front
no, there's no front
facade.
Doors, the doors are always closed.
Okay,
Everything is inside. There's
And-
no outdoor seating.
okay, and then you understand that the closing means everybody's
Yes,
out.
absolutely, yes.
I think that was it for my questions. Does anybody on the committee have any questions? No. No? Anybody here from the public? No? Okay, thank you, good.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, good luck with it. Hope it works. Okay, the next application is going to be Festive and Company, Crosby Street LLC, doing business as Champer Social Club, 430 Broome. And this is on-premise class change for an on-premise for a restaurant. Just give us 1 second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same as what you sent into the community board?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great, good evening.
Go ahead, Mike.
My name is Andrew McCoggan. I am co-owner and COO of Festive & Co. We're here to upgrade our license to full on-premise. No changes to operating hours, no changes to really anything about the space. So we've been in business coming up on 3 years, operating on the corner of Crosby and Broome, 39.5 Crosby Street, and here to answer any of your questions.
Okay, so my first question is going to be, your name is not listed as one of the principals on our question.
I'm an officer.
Officer,
yes,
but not okay, got it.
Yeah, Brennan is
got
the
it.
principal and remains so, and
Okay,
the owner.
okay.
Correct. She's my
Um,
spouse, so.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
all right, so
She-
you're running it,
Yeah, she and our manager Lindsay run it in the
Mhm.
day-to-day, and I
Yeah.
offer assistance.
okay. So, and you were here not in September, I guess, of 2024, or she was here, I believe, at
Correct.
that
Yes.
time,
Yes.
for this upgrade. Nothing's really changed since then, aside from the out.
Yeah, so there was
side.
a request, there was some confusion over outdoor and some other elements that were outside. All of that has been resolved and taken care of. We've worked with Ms. Tenenbaum and the local residents association to address the concerns of residents, and we're back, really taking to heart all of their concerns, and we're back to hopefully get the community boards
Okay, and
approval for an upgrade.
we did hear from the Broadway Residents Coalition saying that they had met with you, they're okay with it.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I think the concerns that the one concern they had that I'd just like to see if you have a way to address it was that when you do have private parties and everybody leaves at midnight, it's just a number of people outside all at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we certainly have methods to address that. We're going to put in place in terms of, ensuring that our guests wait inside if they're calling taxis or calling other transportation. It's not a large part of our business, but I have spoken to the residents, and we've communicated directly with them, and we'll certainly address those concerns. We're also going to make sure that if anything does happen again, that we're notified right away, so that we can make sure that that doesn't happen in the future.
Okay, I was gonna say stagger the endings too or whatever, but. no.
Certainly, yeah, we can do that as well.
So I think, and then for the number of private parties, is it,
There isn't, it's not a large part of our business.
So
So we don't have a limit on it,
Not
but
more than 20, not more than 24. I think for some reason I was thinking that there was not more than 20, but
I don't think that was in the application, but something that we can be discussed if a cap is required.
yeah, I'd like to have something on it, because I think that was one of the, I mean, you tell me what. Because I do think that was one of the other concerns last time too, is that they didn't want this to be a weekly occurrence, that it was an ancillary part of the business.
Sure, yeah, and I think
Um,
especially for evening events, right? Sometimes we have daytime events. I'm not sure if those are of concern, that are sort of more private
the
event,
evening,
private parties. So, yeah, we can discuss some sort of some sort of
Do you
cap
think
that's
like,
reasonable.
like 24? Do you want to get back to me? I mean, we need to discuss this tonight, so I'd
Yeah.
like to have some rough idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think for events ending after 10 p.m., something like that, 24 seems reasonable, but we can also discuss it offline, whatever you prefer.
Okay. I mean, I do need to have something.
I think, yeah, 24 is fine.
Cormac?
Thank you.
Outdoor seating spaces.
Not as part of this application. If we were to add, we will come back to the community. Thank you.
Do you plan to add? Because I think that was the whole, but there's no.
Lord, we had a chat today. They're under the regulations, there might be room in the street, but again, we have no plans to add. Any conversation about outdoor seating will come back to the community board.
Okay, because I'm just going to say that is part of the public, at this point, we waive public interest, and that is part of the public interest. So.
We understand, absolutely.
It's important because once you're going to get the outdoor seating, like a lot of it will be, it's under the CBOs as of right and things, right? So this is our one chance to weigh in on the outdoor seating in some ways. We'll come back and talk whatever, but it's like.
Right, we don't have intentions
Okay,
for outdoor
thank
seating
you.
tonight. Yeah.
That. Right. Dining. So that was part of what, it was the not having the outside was part of the agreement with
Yes.
the community. So what she said was in connection with this application of to obtain local community support, they have agreed to sign new stipulations with the community board, whereby they will add stipulations, they will not offer outside dining or drinking, and that they will not extend the hours past midnight.
Correct.
So that was
Yes.
their point.
Sorry if that wasn't clear.
So-
Apologize.
So that is how we're getting support is by having the outside,
Yes.
just,
That is one part of, yes, so that's one part.
I mean, that's not the numbers, but I think were the two things.
Yeah, we never asked to extend it. We're not a late. basis, but
Having the outside is. Knowing that there's not going to be outside, not just that it's gone right now, but there is not outside. There's not a program for outside. There won't be outside.
Correct.
That is how we weigh the public. Okay. Lois?
Yeah. On your application, it says other outside equipment. So what does that mean? It says, will you be utilizing your observable barriers? And you checked off other outside equipment, describe not applicable. But what does that mean if you checked it off?
I'm sorry, which pit?
Oh,
that's
under
interesting.
page we have the hours.
The only thing there are two staircases down to the basement. And there is HVAC air handlers that are located underneath the staircases that service the premises that have been there for many years. Those are the only things that would pertain to anything that's outside.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else have anything? No. Okay. Thanks for working with everybody.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Okay. The next application is going to be Tartinery. West 3 LLC doing business as Tartinery at 78 West 3rd. This is another class change on premise for a restaurant and has roadway seating as well.
They know me too, I think. Good evening. My name is Nicholas. You've seen me before.
Well, I think if you want
I
to raise that, there's a dial in the middle. It'll come up so you don't have to touch it. Hi.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Nicolas. I am the owner of Tartinery. You met me a few times in the past for different applications. We are applying for an upgrade of our liquor license for our location at 78 West 3rd. No change in.
Just introduce.
Oh, that's it?
That's it. Introduce yourself. All right. Be happy to answer any questions. I know you have everything in front of you. Everybody wants to talk.
I won't take.
Some of the hours, so just give us the basics here.
Can I get a nap?
You can take one of the ones you just,
Thank you.
or memorize it.
Do you guys request two-sided?
Hmm?
Do you request two-sided?
No, I
Why
said,
are we doing two-sided?
did you,
We shouldn't be doing that. No, I apologize. I can't stand two-sided. Okay, the hours of operation are 7 AM to midnight, Monday to Friday,
Mhm,
8 AM to midnight,
mhm,
Saturday and Sunday.
okay. Any, music is background, I guess.
We've
everything.
been there for 18 months. You probably know the place.
Yeah. So that's, so that's my one thing. It hasn't been that long. Okay. 14 tables, 46 is 57 seats altogether, I
Yes.
think.
46 and 11.
Okay, so I'll go back to just when you were here in 23 for the original application, I thought we had agreed to something saying outdoor seating would close at 10, so that was crossed out, so we didn't agree to that. So I just want to make sure, just put that out there that everybody knows that, because that's what's on the sign stipulations.
We don't have a
Right.
stipulation. Donna.
No, you don't. I have something right here.
I don't remember signing this.
Doesn't, am I wrong?
No, I don't know.
Wouldn't be the first time, but.
No, this-
It doesn't, well, here, this is where it says,
we'll come back and discuss.
right, it says you'll discuss it.
Right.
But I'm just putting out to the committee because my resolution, I think the conversation we had when you were here was that. I thought we had agreed to that. My resolution is written, or CB2's resolution is written with that in there. So I'm just making it known that that is not in there. That was whatever. And it doesn't say that now. It says that the applicant will appear at the community board at the appropriate time to discuss the entirety of the outdoor seating once a plan is in place. So
Also,
you have three of them.
Also, which you may not be aware that there are issues with the roadbed dining here because, which most people are not aware of, the FDNY memo that's been circulated regarding the narrow streets.
You should be talking to Nicholas because he was at the meeting.
No, I understand, but it's irrespective of whether it's there or not. Across the
All I'm saying
street,
is that I don't know this.
right. So
That's right.
So because there's not a 15-foot emergency travel lane on the block, the FDNY had sent a memorandum to the Department of Transportation outlining the conditions upon which they might consider waiving the requirement for the 15-foot emergency lane. As part of that, and part of this matches that, but the other part which does not, is that across the street, there's also an application from Half Pint, and the FDNY require, they cannot be across from each other, and they require a 15-foot offset perpendicular separation. So we don't even know if this setup is an allowed setup, and Half Pint doesn't know either, because nobody, from what we know, is actually looking at these. And this has also not been widely shared, and apparently the memo has not been disseminated. So nobody is aware of this issue.
Oh, I believe it.
And so, yeah. So we just bring it up on the narrow streets, and the complication here is that we also understand that you're trying to open, but the big sticking point for us was the 10 PM. Forget that, there's a whole other issue. And
Well, it would appear to me with all due respect, like I said, I know nothing about this.
Yeah.
But it appears as though we already have the DOT approval, so the issue becomes half mine, not ours.
You don't have their approval.
you don't have a New York City Fire Department waiver.
Can I just say one thing? You have to use use the microphone. That's all, just talk to the microphone.
No, so I was talking back and forth by email with the DOT, I mean, someone from the city, and we agreed to reduce the depth of the pergola on the roadway from 8 feet to 6.5 in order to be able to get this FDNY waiver. And I got the conditional approval today by email. From the DOT, not from the fire department.
The fire department is who issues the waiver. And that's the critical waiver, because they're the ones who waive that
Okay.
requirement, but it's also that it has not been made clear to anybody who determines the offset. And this is the problem.
Okay.
And your attorney can tell you there's no clarity or transparency or anything in this process at all. So we're just bringing that up because,
problem.
you know, just the 10 PM is one thing, but this is, but if this is a sticking point for us, which it has been, and we have a problem with that time, we're just,
Is there a third problem?
well,
I'm sure we could come up with something.
there could be, because we don't know yet with the outside.
No, that makes it.
No, and it's a problem. We have, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we have 78 waivers that everybody assumes or shall issue from the FDNY. And they're not. The FDNY is very clear that they don't want to do this. But they were willing in certain so there's a whole bunch of issues, and nobody is.
I mean,
This is news to me.
Communicate about it.
so they might just rescind my
Well, no,
my approval?
yeah,
It may not,
Yeah.
because it doesn't. Because it doesn't get, the fire department is the one who waives it.
Okay.
But their list of requirements, which most people don't know, is that this across the street offset, that you need a 15-foot separation between the roadbeds.
Okay.
But with that said, we also understand, because you have a longer frontage, you know, I haven't looked at it specifically. You know, look, there's something that might be able to know who you work that out
I
with.
mean,
right,
yeah, no, I understand.
Meaning,
I mean,
Yeah,
right.
15-foot thing, and you have room at the other end
To
for
put one
course,
of
of
yours
course.
instead of two of yours.
offset. I don't know, but nobody's telling you, nobody's telling
I
us.
will comply. I mean,
You know,
I have no problem.
we're just saying we don't even know.
okay.
And so then it's hard.
Mhm.
What's it? Well, that's the problem, because then you can't submit to the liquor authority the appropriate diagrams of what you're allowed to use, because I mean, this is just the ongoing, well,
I think they maybe like this for the DOT approval, but.
well, but what,
But
from
it's,
what Chairman Fan has said, to just separately, right? I want to know where you can serve, because my concern from the liquor authority of one of our common charges is serving outside of the licensed area. And so her point is, I just need to know what that area is. And one of the big complaints is extension beyond the areas through all of COVID. And so I think that's why they insist on the clarity of the diagrams, which in some cases, Chairman Fan, and so, well, no, but I don't think that the approved DOT plans include the FDNY waiver, which is what's required because there's emergency lane, so it can't actually be approved with that, well, we can send a memo.
From what I understand, so when they asked me to revise my plan to make it a little narrower, we had to wait, I believe, another 2 weeks to get the approval from FDNY. And then she emailed me back and she said, fine, it was approved by FDNY.
Problem is
Yeah.
to expand on what the problem, because you did adjust everything. You went to the
Yes.
6.5 feet, you put in the 6 feet between the roadway, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
part of the waiver. But what they're not doing is looking at they're looking at you as an isolated case.
Okay.
And then not looking at what else is going down the block. So therefore, they're not taking into consideration the other part of this waiver, which is the 15-foot offset. So
Wrong because half doesn't have an application.
They do have,
Yeah.
do they have an application?
yes, they do. Yes, they do.
But
So-
I guess I'm quicker than them.
But I don't know that you're quicker than.
Oh, you don't know?
And I don't
Okay.
know how.
Yeah, and also,
that-
here's another oddity,
Yeah.
is that the waiver suddenly transformed and that the DOT was doing the application for the waiver. So as opposed to yourself as the applicant, which
Okay.
is, but again, and Frank, I'll send you a copy of
We'll
the
send you a copy.
memo and answers
That's the question.
of who arbitrates it.
With your current programs on a basis. I know you're doing the working committee that pick up Mondays.
Well,
whenever.
You
no,
also have
whenever.
TNT. When I applied to the liquor authority, you're gonna call me in again for the sidewalk, for the Alteration? This committee.
That's actually, we have discussed it, and that's a prerogative that the chair can waive.
Bring that back.
Well, I mean, that's.
Well, are you doing sidewalk too? Have you applied for, I don't think DOT, I
No,
don't
not doing
think
sidewalk.
you're not doing sidewalk.
No, just the roadway.
It's too narrow, I think.
We don't have the clearance.
You don't
with
have the
trees.
clearance. Okay, so,
With the
that-
trees, it doesn't work. Yeah. I
okay.
mean, if you give us a waiver. it's fine.
Yeah, right.
We just don't have the
Let's not
clearance.
Anybody for a waiver,
Because
maybe.
what's gonna happen now is maybe you can approve this with our stipulation that we won't use it till we come back to you. He has the approval. I can notify him in front of you again.
Well,
Well,
I mean.
I,
Discussed it, but I think the challenge is the time.
right. I mean, I think, we had been saying the 10 o'clock. So if we could maybe agree to the,
I asked you about that and you said, I said, if I agree to number one,
Yeah.
well, number two,
Well,
or
no-
he said no.
well, no.
I said
we-
15 minutes ago.
I'm not part of number two.
I agree to number one.
Okay,
so I'm
you
fine
agree to
with
number
it.
one. So you'll agree to the 10 PM
If you give us
closing.
number two, yeah, you can't do it, but I get it.
The reason that we keep raising this is because the situation that New York City has put applicants in is outrageous.
Yeah, yeah, no. I
You
understand.
know, and also from the time period that you've applied for the license for outside, if you applied when it opened,
Mm.
the window, which I don't know what the date, but it was a long,
Yeah, I
it
did
was a
apply
long time
A
ago.
few weeks after.
That there was ample opportunity for the DOT to process those. Instead, that
in July.
process took a very long time before it was referred to the community board.
Okay.
And then it's sent to us. And then there's this other memorandum for the emergency lane waivers that was from last year. That information's not shared with anybody. Then they're asking you to adjust your plans, just a little while ago, right? And this information they should have been aware of and shared with you early on when you applied, when they first.
Yeah, they did.
And then there's a portion of the memorandum which also has these offsets that they're not even sharing with you. And so as you've gone through all of this, it keeps changing or getting smaller without any information to you, and that's, or to us. And we're left in a very
I understand.
difficult position. And then on top of that, we also have on all these narrow streets, many of the, in our area are all residential. So there's even, the issues
No, no,
with
I
that. So
understand.
that's, so there's a, and,
Other than deep in number two.
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll discuss it in our business side. I think that we write up stipulations that maybe say something like any, all the proper approvals from the city.
Right.
Well, it's important, but it's important that
I
you
think I
understand because
Well, I
also,
understand, but
because it's ridiculous on these streets with this that need waivers and you've got, streets blocks filled with entities and I don't know who's going to get it or how it's going to be fought out,
I'm
and
really surprised-
everybody's.
I'm really surprised on such a well run out program that there's these problems.
Okay, Lois, did you have something separate?
I live on a block.
yeah,
I've passed, I've passed it like a lot of times. Now, the thing is, you're asking for more. It's very rare that it even goes to 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. So what are you going to do? Because I come from the theater and I walk down from the subway and you're closed.
no, so we're mostly, I mean, Tartinery is mostly a, breakfast, lunch, early dinner place. But it's just that when we have the full liquor license, we hope we can actually increase the dinner business. And I mean, midnight is a stretch, but if we can be
Okay.
open until 10, it's
Okay.
great, yes.
Thank you. And the food is delicious and I love it. And so we're not going to have a soda cafe. There's
can't.
chairs and tables or
So these were in the meantime, but no, we can't. We don't have the clearance because of those trees.
yeah.
We'll do the doorway.
And explain
Yes,
from a resident's point of view,
yes.
the fire engines on West Third, I think it's really Great Jones and it moves into West Third, comes down Thompson Street. And when it makes the turn, it could crash into your roadbed or even Half Pint. And it could, it's on speed and it comes down Thompson Street. And it is a tremendous hazard. The roadbed, I'm not saying yes or no, that's up to the fire department, but I'm telling you that it will be a tremendous shake
I'll
to the people
understand.
who are sitting there when that fire truck comes down Thompson Street.
We can give them helmets. I don't know.
So the other thing is the easel that you put out. I don't know what you all call it. The easel
Sandwich board.
sandwich sign is all over the street.
We put it against the storefront now.
I don't know what your staff does. And people with strollers and wheelchairs cannot pass by. We knock it over. And
I'm not
kids
sure.
that are on rollerblades or scooters.
Or one of the stipulations you want me to put in is that the sandwich board will be within 3 feet.
Yeah, even less than 3 feet, I understand, but
Be done.
Yeah, so
and-
it's even locally, usually it's going to Village Stock District there.
I think they have to be put up against the building.
I will
but-
put it against,
Ju-
I'll remind the staff, no worries.
And just so you know that there's a 20-foot offset from the curb, which takes into account the turning radius.
yes,
Because the roadbed dining does take into account the daylighting state requirement.
mhm.
So there is a 20-foot offset and it's a no standing. So-
Good luck. That food's great.
Thank you.
Okay, I think, does that do it? That does it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Right, Cormac, go ahead.
Who is unhappy with that all of this is administered, this brilliant program. I just want to remind you, there's an election in November. Register now.
Rough. choice.
Okay. Okay. Frank, are we good? We're okay. You're okay with us. I mean, okay, fine. Okay. Bonnie Restaurant LLC, are they here too? Get you in and out. Bonnie and Mott. This is no non-premise restaurant, also a class change. Is this the same as what you sent in?
Yes. I apologize, Don, did you get the late stuff I sent in? Because they're attached, it's attached to that. It was late stuff that came up today. There's an email thread and there's 311 complaints.
I got the email. Hi.
So if you remember, I think we were here in January. And you guys were in receipt of a letter from, I don't remember if it was a block association or building.
It was the building across the street, the building association.
I had said, let's take 60 days and see if we can spend some time and work this out. It was largely a one-sided conversation. Oh, I'm sorry.
Is this? you want to put one down?
I always leave a paper clip for the chair. So the stapled one is,
Okay.
that way I know it's the chair.
Oh, that's good. Oh, thank you.
So that's where we are.
So why don't you, either one of you just explain just what went on or did not go on?
I thought you meant not the operation one, but the,
No, I
Tell
think,
them
I mean,
about
we
the
heard,
changes.
we heard the operation. If somebody has questions about the operation, I can go back into the operation a little bit, but I'd like, the big thing was the concerns we had. So I'd just like to be brought up to date on what happened with that.
So last time we can see the building across the street from us, got an email saying we're rowdy, I guess. I don't know the word they use, tavern oriented, which is
Yeah, I think what had happened was they had, because when you originally came, it was in January. And so when they had their end of year meeting, a number of the residents had complained about hearing. So I'm not saying whether it's correct or not. I'm just saying what they said was that there was a lot of loud noise since you opened in the summer from the open windows, people working from home were disturbed, et cetera, et cetera. So,
which I thought stuff like this will come back.
yes, and it came from the building association to the community board, actually, just to make this clear, before, nobody in that building knew you were coming to us for this cost change. That was just a random email that came in after they had their meeting. So go ahead, so.
Yeah, so I went after the same meeting to us to figure out what happened. So I tried to make contact with them, as I think Frank reported to emails. And I think they stipulated that everyone was on board from the meeting, from the building. And so we tried to get contact with the management, so they never get back to us. And one for this lady, Katie, I think that her email is there. She actually on the outlet who crosses the street from the restaurant in the building. And if you can tell, even she was saying she was not aware of one of these complaints. And she's basically regular, and she had the place, and she was trying to also make contact with them, but we never heard from them. That's and then I'm with the landlord of the building as well. The landlord of
Your landlord,
to make contact.
there,
So the landlord, when he tried to get in contact with them, also to the management, they said they got contact. They never did as well. So we try our best basically to, and again, we have full service restaurant serving food, and I don't know what was a misunderstanding, but we show goodwill, try to hear obviously the community, but we don't get any feedback.
okay. I also emailed them separately just to let them know and gave them your information so that they could reach out if they wanted to do so. And so what's with the 311 complaints? Because anybody?
well, we just wanted to show you there's no complaints at that level.
Okay. Okay, so now let's go down. So the restaurant is open Sunday to Wednesday till 12 a.m., Thursday to Saturday to 1 a.m. It's background music, but maybe not quite background with the open windows. I'm just gonna go through. Okay, so these are that location,
you
yeah,
say
so there's a
maybe not
couple. I'm just saying, look, just because the people didn't come back
Well,
to
they
you
didn't
again.
follow up.
No, they did, Frank,
They didn't
look,
follow
no,
up.
I realize that, so
I just don't think we should give credence to something that.
How long have you been open?
How long have we been open?
since August. So it's, you know, I mean, you haven't been open very long to be coming for a class change.
Want to explain
And-
that?
Yeah, I could. So bottom line is, I've been in the neighborhood myself for 20 years. I used to be part of Balsam. I used to run Jacks on 20 prints. I always have a great relationship with everyone. Our following is literally people live five block radius, but some of them they cannot support us because we don't have hard liquor. They end up going across the street, whatever, and we cannot keep serving. We end up one bit, we just tried, again, it's because it's a restaurant and we were thinking that will be enough, but unfortunately it's not enough. And again, we're just trying to serve whoever is around, and that's why we come back to the community to try to afford them. Oh, yeah, and also, sorry, I forgot about that. The gentleman who used to represent us before, Frank, to not throw anyone behind under the bus, he told us go with the wine and beer.
Well,
I'm not very on myself. I'm not an attorney. I've been doing restaurants since I'm 17. I run it. There's my phone number there. I'm about 24/7 literally. So when my attorney tell me something, I do a high school job. So I just try to work hard.
We're not disparaging anybody.
No. So hang on one second. This was space, right.
For having there as well, so it's a long time ago, but still.
I'm sorry?
And the board didn't support your previous. Community Board 2 did not support your previous businesses at Balsam for a liquor
The last
license.
4 years.
Okay,
Well,
I'm just saying, I mean, and Johnny didn't support it in the 500-foot hearing. I mean, it's not like, you know, there are no issues in the past there.
No, but the last 4 years, I have zero involvement with that business.
Yeah, this is not from the last 4 years. This is from when they were trying to get their original full liquor license at Balsam.
It was just this, again, the operator there, not the decision making. This one, I'm the operator and the decision maker.
So I guess, what I would say is, you know, part of the reason that your other attorney might have told you to go with the beer and the wine is because there isn't the public interest in that. This is a previously unlicensed location. So it's only been licensed since you got the beer and wine license, which is why I think last time it was listed as previously unlicensed because it just, right. I mean, you know, because they didn't get their actual liquor license. They were operating under a temporary license. They didn't get their liquor license until the end of November. So, and as much as those residents did not get back to you, you know, we got this letter randomly to let the community board know about it, not because they knew you were coming.
No.
And I understand people don't necessarily know the process and don't necessarily follow up with things. I think it's a shame nobody reached out to you at all, but
If
personally,
it was a legitimate complaint, someone would have followed it up. I'm
well,
familiar with-
I wasn't just, I mean, there were a number of people that apparently in that building were complaining and they were very specific about the complaint. And we do have some complaints in here from September and December. Is that right?
Dog bark.
And,
Dog bark.
no, noise, commercial, loud music, party.
7 p.m. It said, I don't think it was us. Like how?
I'm just going, and then I'll let the committee go. I'm just raising my concerns with you. You have not been open that long. The community board has received complaints, whether they've engaged with you or not. The community board has received complaints about your operations with the loud open windows, with the being loud, with the doors open, with parties and everything else. And you've just had your license, the temp was in the summer, you've just had your license since November. And the only track record I have to go on here, the community board has to go on, is that we've heard, and you're asking for us to upgrade it. You have also applied for roadbed seating out there. Well, we're gonna get there because this is all part of the public interest and what we have, is a place with sign stipulations that say no outside, with a wall full of open windows, with complaints from the community, and you are asking to upgrade the license because the business isn't working with just the beer and wine, and we need more liquor so people can drink, so that it will be even louder. And,
Why did liquor make it louder?
because they're having more fun.
Ah,
I
a lot of
I
fun
would,
here.
so
What?
does anybody from the, I mean, and there were problems at the past place that you were at,
Again, I wasn't there for the last 4 years.
but
I don't know
as
what they
Carter
doing.
said, it goes back further than that.
When I was there, I was open for, I was serving during COVID, helping everyone around, same as I was at Jacques. I was giving up, helping with the garden, I love that.
I know,
live around.
it
I
makes
love
me
that neighborhood.
uncomfortable.
I spend my adult life there. I know almost everyone around there. Everyone is really supportive with us, and we support back. So that's why it's
Okay.
like we're part of it as much as part of it.
Okay. And that roadbed seating also has an FDNY waiver, and that street is even narrower. Does anybody from the committee have anything else? I'm uncomfortable. Right. Right. Anybody? I just,
Speaker?
Hmm?
You have a speaker? Go.
On your, I'm sure, I think, yeah, this is for the, petition? This is the petition?
I believe so, yes, ma'am.
Why is it? Similarly, I'm a teacher. Similarly, like it's the same handwritings.
Which one? I will look.
And, who is the nearest person to your place?
I don't
Yeah.
remember. We did this
Mainly what kind?
last time we came.
Is this you?
Jackie has something like that. It's 238
Mainly
Mott
what
Street.
kind too?
So yeah, so in my building.
This one.
Okay.
Okay. How did this petition, how did you create it and how did you get the signatures? Oh, so when they came to the restaurant,
I run around. I go to the park around. I ask Patricia at the park. I ask, her son, I think, I don't know if they did it. So this is literally people from there. And you can, I'm sure you know that you can ask them yourself. And see.
Okay. I'm just questioning it.
Absolutely, that's your right.
Anybody else have anything? No. Okay.
You can have a speaker card.
Do I have a speaker? Is anybody here from the public to speak on this application? Yeah, I don't have a speaker
I
card.
thought you had a speaker.
Oh, I thought she did.
Well, where is it?
I think she was here.
No,
No,
that's
she
not the
does not
speaker
card,
card.
she
Just come on, you certainly can come up and speak, and if you could just fill out the speaker card when you're done, that would be great. Okay? Yeah. No, yeah, you signed it, but you still need to fill out the card. I'm sorry. Frank, can you just do me a favor and lower the microphone for her? That solves it.
Okay. I'm Pauline Bethel. I live right next door to the restaurant at 234 Mott Street. I've lived there for 11 and a half years. And I got acquainted, we did, as he was working on the restaurant, because I'd be out on the street every day passing by and we would visit. He'd talk about what's going on and how it's going to happen and what it's going to be like. And he knew the people that were around because he's been in the area for a good while. And I just have enjoyed watching him put his heart and soul into building a new place there that's a real plus to our neighborhood is the way I look at it. It's pretty. If you haven't passed by and looked in it, it's decorated pretty. It's friendly, and it's a nice restaurant that serves good food. And I think it's a real asset to that area to have him there in the restaurant. And I'd really like to see him be able to maintain a business there and be able to meet the requirements to, if it means a liquor license, what it means in order for him to stay in business there. And my building's just right next door to it. And, it was always fun. So, well, what are you doing today? And how's it going? And, see the people that come by and that he knows the people in the neighborhood. So it's been fun to me to be a part of that and to watch him grow.
Okay, great. Thank you for coming down.
Has this restaurant disturbed you in any way?
No, it's funny. I had
This is a back
talked
and
about
forth,
it
Frank.
when he started, but anyway.
It's okay.
Because you represent the applicant, and this is a public testifier, and there's no back and forth between applicants and public testifiers at our hearings, and you know that, Frank.
Wait a minute. I didn't hear you.
Nice try. It's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it. Yeah,
Okay.
thanks a lot. But please fill out the speaker card, the other sheet next to it with your that one right there that your hand is, just your name and address, email. And yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Okay.
That's it, done, is that? I spoke to Chris today. Yeah. He said no. He said he's coming Thursday, and that's it. Good job.
Playing it all.
Yes. Have a good month, guys.
You know it's better, all right.
I don't know. He was mortified that.
Okay.
You know, Frank, salary. There you are, well, that's good pie, like pizza, yeah.
Okay, so see you Thursday. Okay. Okay, let me go to Soshin. Yes, give it to me. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. We're back up at the first one. Or close to the first one. Is there anything any different from what you sent to the office?
No.
Okay. '68 Thompson, sorry. This is a tavern wine in a previously unlicensed location, I believe. Oh, and you might need to raise the microphone or hold the microphone, or I think kind of a little. Is it still on? It's on, right? Yes, because I think it's I mean, I don't know. It doesn't sound like, Mark, is it on? Is that microphone on? Is it turned to the on position there?
How about now?
Yeah.
It's better? Okay. My name is David Gabay. I represent the applicant. This is a 500-foot Japanese omakase restaurant. It's open now, but it has no liquor. There is no TV. There's nothing outside. Sure. It's a 500-foot Japanese omakase restaurant that's currently operating, but without liquor. It's 500 square feet, one floor, no television, no live music, no outdoors, no windows. It has 13 seats at its bar, and then two tables with a total of 4 seats. The hours are 5 to 10, 7 days, except for 11 o'clock on Friday. There is one slight change I need to make in the paperwork, which is we had told you that there is no music
Turns out there is light background recorded music only.
iPods, like a streaming service, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a very quiet place. Nothing happens there. No offense. Nothing happens that would
Cause a
spill outside.
disturbance.
And with that, I will let the owner answer any
Sure.
questions about the
And
operation.
then you might need to lower that
Yeah.
for him.
Not the tallest guy.
Hello, members of the board. My name is Jason. Thank you for your time tonight. I'm the owner of Social 68 on 68 Thompson Street. Here to answer any questions you have as we apply for a liquor license. We're open since October 15th. So how much months is that? It's like about 1 to 5.5 months now.
How's
We've
it been going?
Good. We've had a lot of people from the community come by, like people that live in the building next door, next to us, and down the street, they come by. And like we're meeting all the residents and we're making like friends with all of them. There's one that's lived there for 55 years of his life. Pretty insane. I was like good conversing. We've talked to a lot of people there. A lot of them celebrate their birthdays with us and they come down. And we sing happy birthday to them. It's always a great time with them. So I'm having a lot of fun. Talking to all the customers, the community, and meeting everyone. So we're currently a BYOB establishment, and we have no problem so far when people are bringing their own alcohol or liquor on premises at the moment. So with no problem so far. So we're looking to apply for a license. The type of alcohol that we're looking to have is probably imported from Japan, something that's very unique, but we're still gonna have BYOB on premises. That's our plan.
So I don't know, Carter, do you want to speak
Yeah,
for that?
I
Because you know better.
I don't believe that you're allowed to do BYOB
Oh,
because any commercial business requires it, but also a key point is that you can't, once you do have a license, you can't do service beyond what you're licensed for. So you won't be able to, people can't bring full liquor, even if they bring it, because the commercial business, anyway, BYOB is not allowed in New York State.
Yeah, I understand.
I'll let them know.
I understand. Sorry, I was unaware.
Okay. Is this space the space that, and maybe somebody else on here, is this where the tattoo parlor was? So it's the southern, it's the southernmost storefront, I think.
Yes. So
Got the street
there's
direction right. I flipped it and it's the north, it's on,
so our door is here, and then to the left of our door is the apartment building for 68 Thompson.
okay, okay. So it's this one, but I just don't know if that's southern or I think it's, yeah, it's this one. So I think that's the southernmost because Thompson Street runs. Okay. Okay, and then the other question, you said 11 o'clock on Friday, not 11 o'clock on Saturday?
Friday and Saturday, 11 o'clock.
Friday and Saturday, okay, because that's not what's in the application, just says Friday, and you just said Friday, so I just thought that was unusual. And
And then every other night, 10 p.m.
10 p.m., okay, and that means all patrons are out at that time, and you're not open for lunch?
No, we open at 5 o'clock every day.
Okay. And there's one bathroom, go ahead, Dr. Smith.
Hi, I see you have on your application private parties.
Mhm.
About how many private parties do you plan to have?
So customers will book with us. We had 2 this past weekend. We don't have a small space, so we don't really have that many people in private parties. So never really more than 20 people on premises. And then we make sure that we enforce our closing hours and make sure that they're out by then, so we can have peace and quiet at nighttime.
What kind of party did you just have?
So people just like birthday parties. So people celebrate birthdays. We serve everyone our course meal. And then they stay to talk a little bit and converse with one another and just celebrate. So they bring their birthday cakes. Sometimes they bring decorations, so we'll put them up for them, and then we'll all sing happy birthday together.
Thank you.
price points for your Omasaka and then the price points for your liquor, your brown wine and sake.
So, our omakase, we're currently serving a 12-course menu for $68. I haven't spoke to the vendors for the alcohol yet, so I don't have a rough idea what the first price points are. But once we do, we will should we send that over and let you guys know.
Consistent from 5 to say 11 p.m. with 10 p.m. It's what's your turnover? It's do you have a turnover like 1 hour, an hour and a half, 2 hours?
So we have basically two areas of the restaurant. We have the basically the counter. The counters we have hour 15 to see and eat, and then our tables we have hour and a half for each one.
Thank you.
No problem.
And then when you have the private parties, is that for all night or just for a certain number of hours?
Usually just for one seat, so like an hour and
So the
15 minutes.
restaurant isn't closed for the whole evening?
No.
So how many, how many times a year would you think you'd be closing the whole restaurant for?
Very rarely, just because we would have to charge more money to our patrons because they're taking up more time slots. So people usually opt for just a single time slot, and we charge them just the
For
normal
it's
course.
like they've booked the seating of the hour and a half or something like that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Anthony.
Perhaps as a photo of your menu and it's set up by your establishment itself. It shows complimentary house sake. So have you been serving sake these past 3 months that you've been open?
Yes. I was not aware if that was against regulation or not. Just because of the complimentary, I was only aware if it was
regardless.
Yeah.
You're also not purchasing it from an authorized source. So these are a lot of
You need to go
violations.
through, he does. You're gonna have to have a long conversation because this is all not the way it should be happening. Yeah.
Got
So
it.
otherwise you're gonna get in trouble. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think that does it. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for your time.
Okay. The last application, but I see nobody here, but I will call it, is Host on Howard LLC, doing business as Host on Howard. You don't have. Do you know something I don't know about that?
Not about that one, no, but those, potential waived appearances, this is the only one that actually got back to us.
No, they all got back to us. They all said.
Oh, well, that may have happened after I left the office, sorry, okay. All right. Okay.
Thank you. Host on Howard, yeah, which was a class. It's a catering, 21 Howard, catering. Okay, so then I will go through all the ones that we're not hearing, that we've waived appearance. So there were 5 that were for basically the Open Streets program, 26 Bond Street Retail, doing business as Checks on Bond at 26 Bond. Buco at 47 Bond, 55 Bond Street, doing business as Fish Cheeks. And so those 3 are the Open Street on Bond Street. And then we have Bond Design Ltd, doing business as Bond at 3 Bleecker. And where is the, and plus 82, doing business as in for Charlie at 5 Bleecker, which is also the Open Streets. So I got them stipulations. I put the unsigned stipulations in the drive with the application so you could see what they said. They all emailed, I didn't get them to them till yesterday, just trying to figure out what the forms would say and if we could just waive this appearance. So, they all emailed and said that they were fine with the stipulations and they would be returning them by Thursday. So if I have some issue, I'm going to be calling them in for Thursday. But I don't anticipate this. They all sent drawings. They're all in there. It's the open streets. They're managed. And they close at 11. So that's that. You can go ahead and do that one. Okay.
Financial.
Which one?
Because I took pictures for both of them.
Okay.
And sent to them.
Okay.
So
Thank you, Carter. And, okay. And so then the other thing I'm just going to say with Il Buco is Il Buco also has sidewalk and roadway, which is, you'll see in there a different stipulation form. The roadway is a new thing, but they've had their sidewalk there for forever. The hours are the same as what it's always been, and I think they're gonna have to shorten up their sidewalk, because now there's 5 feet from primary building entrance, we think. Still, that's another item that's to be determined. And they have building entrances on both sides of their sidewalk cafe. So whereas before they were able to go to the edge of their frontage, they may not be able to go to the edge of their frontage any longer. So something that's been there for what, 15, 20 years? I mean, it's been there a really long time. They may have to pull that in. They're aware of that. If they have to do that, they said they would do, I mean, they agreed to do what they needed to do in order to conform. So that's that. The other thing that's interesting about them, is that with their roadbed that they're putting out there, with the open streets, you have to serve from your frontage. So when they came to the outdoor dining working group for their roadbed, they had it going the full length of their frontage. And then had a conversation of, do they want to have the open streets or not? Is it worth it for them to shorten their roadbed a little bit so they get the 3 feet or whatever they need to be able to walk out to the open street? And the drawings reflect that we have now. So go ahead, Carter.
And I was just gonna say, so Jackson Bond submitted notification to us, what, like, a month and a half ago or something. Yeah, it was quite some time ago. And I had spoken to them because I live in immediate proximity to them. And I said, hey guys, I'd appreciate if you can get this all done so you're following the rules with the open street. And so the owner there took that to heart, engaged the law firm, and they submitted notice. And I saw that and I said, Tano, we should use these because the open streets are a little different, but let's see if this is a test case, see how hard this is to get this all done. And this is going to be a long road to get all the work done to waive these even, and the office is going to have to do quite a bit of work, but I anticipate that in the next month or two, we're probably going to get a couple hundred
of these
once the DOT submits their approvals. So we don't have to wait to hear them from applicants.
Which we've been telling.
And we've been telling people that, but they can't apply to the liquor authority until they have the approval from the city. And I think we only have one approval for outside so far in
We do?
CB2.
Which
I
one?
think that Valerie had said, I don't know. So whatever on the map they have.
Yeah.
But the idea is that it's a lot of behind the scenes work, so we don't hear them, but we don't have the capacity at
I mean,
this
we can't
committee
sit here and hear.
to hear everything, but which ones, because there are some, we have to figure that out.
So we can talk.
Yeah, so, but I mean, because we're just running out of time, because the next month we'll have the avalanche
I mean, yeah.
of the beginning of that, we assume.
And the other thing is, and I'm not quite sure how DOT is going to really be handling this, but once they do give final approval, the SLA has said it's 30 days. Like when they send in their notice, it's 30 days. They will make it, they will, unless they hear from us, otherwise they will approve it in 30 days from when that is sent in. So I have told the office, so there might be some thrown on Thursday. I'm at this juncture, I think we have a little bit of leeway room just because DOT is not approving, but that leeway room is going to go away very quickly. And so I have told the office to just, if we get something, let me know. I don't care what the deadline was, I'll try to throw it on. That's also though, as I realized, I got an email from the office yesterday with 2 of them just saying, should we put this on Thursday if we get the information? Yes, but now I'm realizing between now and Thursday, somehow in this process, I have to figure out, can we just waive it, get them to stipulate, do all of that? And that's only two of them. So that gave me a little inkling of the nightmare this could possibly be. And then the nightmare will go away once we get through it, but it's likely to be a rough couple of months. And yeah, and the waiving is a
So if
interesting thing.
there are places you specifically has specifically needs to be brought up.
We need to know. Yeah, just,
Yep, and I don't know what, but we just don't have a lot of capacity here. You know.
and I
just-
think,
So we gotta figure this out because it's.
I mean, we know, I think we have a sense of our major problem places, but I'm not sure about the ones that are not major, but yet should.
It would be helpful if we just had a conversation about, well, what constitutes a problem spot? Like, you know.
Well, I get, in my mind, I looked at it as if somebody were coming in here for a change for their license, we kind of know which places we're gonna ask more questions of, do a lot of diligence on, because of there have been problems. There are different problems. I mean, to me, well, I mean, I wouldn't say, I think, no, it is a good question. If somebody was really bad during COVID, not like the worst case scenarios, but just because everybody had people out on the sidewalks too much, I'm like, I don't want to hear that they had people outside on the sidewalks too much in 2020. I don't really want to hear that they had it halfway through 2021. If they were still doing that in 2023 and 2024,
I mean, just to answer your point, I think that some of the just basics are going beyond the approved areas, right? That's one. Going beyond hours. These are just some basic things that are on an ongoing basis, which was regularly apparent. And on top of that, an unwillingness to correct it.
Yeah, that's.
If it came up. And so, because those are the main issues. And then also because the expansion of the universe of where outdoor dining can occur was fairly substantial in our community into a lot of our residential areas. You know, were there problem places with a little bit of discussion that could mitigate some of the ongoing issues? And those are conversations that are probably good to take here because all those places could not have outside dining before. So I think that those are the types of things that we might, you know, but they're not that many. You know, I mean, if people, folks who are history standpoint, but to it's like, well, recent problem in the recent immediate past, and particularly to open color, have been resistant to correction, right? So. And Donna had good stipulations, just and which I think answers perhaps some of your complaints on a going basis with somebody, which for waiving appearance that Donna had put in there regarding TVs, speakers, having TVs outside, TVs that are viewable from the outside, because those, as we know, tend to be a noise situation, and it's not. I don't think Donna is saying no, you can't. Well, the outside stuff you can't have, but it involves more of a discussion, right? So, and that's just, I know to Dr. Smith's point, yeah, yeah.
Doctor. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Dr. Smith.
Oh, sorry.
Same consideration, I think, if they. Which one?
So last month on the Thursday meeting on SLA 2, we had the West 4th Street applicant for Central Pay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That came up. And we've been having ongoing complaints with the neighbors for multiple years, including up through last year.
We were up at the full
And
board
we,
arguing. against
yeah,
them as
and,
well.
and we tried to have a conversation to bridge the gap between the neighbors and the applicant. And there didn't seem to be a willingness on either side to come to any agreement, which was unfortunate for both sides, because now there isn't anything. And most likely, where that application will go to the full board, to the liquor authority. And, but we spent a lot of time trying to
Nobody was happy
find
with
an
us.
agreement, and it's just unfortunate because we're trying to find an agreement, and maybe, you know, can be revisited in a year or two, whatever these are, but we, at the same time, when there are ongoing issues, you know, that we're aware of, there has to be some sort of balance figured out.
Yeah.
And because of the liquor licensing, and that this is an expansion in new areas, and you know, the impact on the quality of life, and also, but you know, at the same time, we have to take into account that the city has passed new rules, and there's a new universe, and in many cases, they're allowed to be there. But we also have 78 requests for roadbed waivers,
So I think that.
you know, which is, we don't have any answers from DOT on, and these are some of the complaints from a public safety. The FDNY doesn't necessarily, I don't know if Donna had shared the memo with everybody, but it's
No,
like,
but-
they aren't saying, oh, yeah, this is a great idea. They're saying, well, we're not saying it's okay, but if these were the circumstances, we might be okay with it, with the final sign off from the local firehouse on any conditions, you know. But it's not easy, and you know, but we also don't have a capacity for a lot, so it's really egregious situations, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think so to your point, Dr. Smith, I think a lot of the ones we hear that our, for the most part, our community groups are pretty vocal. And so we know the ones that are of concern, like the Saint Tropez, we all know about Saint Tropez, you know. And I think some of the ones that are a little more complicated to me are going to be all the FDNY waivers, because I don't think we really think that these are a great idea yet. And I don't know what to do with them, because you know, if they're gonna be there.
Well,
Hours and things like that.
The other thing, though, is that many of our applicants or our licensees have been before us within the last 4 years. And so we have guidance already on their
Right.
outside hours of operation.
Right.
And then we also, before that, have many locations. We had the most sidewalk cafes in the city. So we have many locations with the hours. And I think that Donna had
we've been-
indicated not areas are all equal.
Right.
But we do, and you know, we have a lot of places that have 10 o'clock, which are closer to residential for the outdoor hours.
10 and 11.
Some are 11 in some areas.
I know
And
up closer to meatpacking, but you know, we were negotiating when we tried the hotel a couple months ago. One of the things was they wanted 11 and 12. And, you know, for that 2-block stretch, it's on 9th Avenue. There's not a person that lives right there. And, you know, it's busy from cars honking. It's not going to be, yeah, that's not what's going to be bothering people. So
I think that and when we discussed this the last time, I think, you know, Donna, just looking at a lot of these, we know, you know, from all of our discussions, I think Donna had said to both committees, okay, you know, but if we don't give her the leeway, which I think we already talked about the
Yeah.
other month, we can't, as a committee, are in
No.
a very difficult.
but I do want, I mean,
Spot.
if any of you know of places that raise it, and I guess we should put a system in where I also, as we get these in, they'll be on the agenda. So you can just look at the agenda, you know, they've already started, the office is, and I'll have a whole talk with Eva once we, you know, as this gets going to see, but so they have started already the April agenda, I think. They've gotten much better about starting the agenda. Like as soon as we start getting layovers, they start the next month's agenda. So I think one of the processes we'll probably put in there, as this comes in, just get it on the agenda. It doesn't matter if it's, just get it on there. So any of you can just look on there. I think I messed it up this time because of last time and I didn't realize how many we would get. So we have a municipal expansion. I'll just put them all under municipal expansion at the end instead of the alteration at the top, and anything that's a different one, like they're going into an adjacent storefront, will be listed separately. But then you can just look in the agenda and see if you see anything in there that needs to be red flagged. Even if it doesn't, just because it doesn't say waive appearance doesn't mean I'm not waiving it. It just means I haven't gotten to it yet. So.
Any other,
If it doesn't, if it's just in the agenda, like we have two other ones still to discuss that did not say waive appearance until this afternoon. So if it doesn't say waive appearance and you're seeing it, it doesn't mean that we are not going to waive appearance. But it will say waive appearance by the time we get to it, but this is going to be time consuming on my part as well. So that's why, you know, if you see it in there, say something. I'll try to send out an email to you all, but I'm going to try to start waiving these on a rolling basis, try to get them done. So I'm not doing that, as well as looking at the applications the week before the meeting. If we can, you know, if I can do that. So, okay, finish this.
One of the other things too, is that we may have to revisit many of these, because I think a lot of the applicants just want to get going on serving, but if we are going to recommend denial on these, means they're not going to be able to serve alcohol. They're going to have to be scheduled for an SLA full board meeting. So if Donna is offering to many people an earlier closing time at the moment to move forward for them to waive appearance, people may accept that for now, but they may revisit it, you know, but.
Oh, they may come back, you're saying.
Yeah, they may come back, which is okay.
Which is
in
fine.
the course of time, but we also don't want to stop. I mean, it's no fault of the applicants that this process is a complete mess. And many of them applied quite some time ago, and it hasn't been clear coming to us to sort this out. So I just bring that up.
I mean,
you
just
know,
for an
that
example.
it's.
Just to be clear, like from my point of view, I don't think anybody wants to derail any application. I think, you know, one of the things that we talked about earlier, right, a few months back is that, you know, if they're within a certain envelope, that is to say, you know, their footprint, you know, what the other committee does, the you know, the working group does, right? If their footprint is what's legally appropriate, allowable, right? If they have within a reasonable hour envelope, right? They're not looking for really late hours. If everything, in other words, is fairly normal, right? There's no reason to sort of it's only when people are asking for the extraordinary, right? Or when they have an extraordinary record of you know, of being scofflaws, right? Or something like that. So.
And just, you know, the stipulations that they're signing also say that they'll follow all the rules and regulations of the Dining Out NYC program, because some of them are coming with things that are not completely, you know, that committee is doing a very good job of really measuring or saying there are obstructions. And sometimes the applicants aren't agreeing with it because DOT is not necessarily quite as good a thing. So at least I don't think our committee should be revisiting whether an extra table should be there or not. I think, okay. So I think by having the stipulation in there that says they'll follow all the rules and regulations of the dining out program. I mean, you know, I'm hoping, okay, good. Because that was one of the other things that went through my head is, do we need to re-argue this here? And I sort of don't think we can.
And you raised the issue tonight with an example with Buco, which had a licensed sidewalk cafe for over 20 years. And the new rules have a slight change over discrepancy on what's considered a primary building entrance. But the DOT has not given us, in the rules, it says you have to have a certain distance from a primary building entrance, but they have not defined what buildings require that offset from the primary building entrance. particularly when the residential buildings, or even what size, and even in their materials that they show on their website, the building pictured is a school.
I,
So
host on
anyway, so there
Howard?
was,
Thank goodness.
yeah. So
Okay,
that's,
good.
so we don't have clarity. So if we are not engaging in the tables and chairs part, we don't have to. Yeah.
Okay, so just, you hang on just 1 second. I'm just gonna finish. We had two others that I waived appearance. One was Morrow's LLC doing business as Miss Arizi, 36 East 8th Street, East 4th Street. On-premise restaurant, it's a corporate change. All the information's in there. One of the people sold to one of the others. So there's no real change. I had them re-sign the stipulations agreement. It's the same as it was. And then the other one is Gammon Cafe LLC at 7 Springs, doing business at 7 Spring Street Cafe at 7 Spring Street. That's an on-premise for a tavern. It's that backgammon place, if you remember, that came to us. So they had not filed, so and they are filing now, so they needed to re-notify us. I had them re-sign the stipulations. The lawyer changed and I just. They signed the stipulations. I didn't ask them all those questions, but I did ask, the principles haven't changed, and it says in the stipulations that they're a backgammon place, so. If they're not, then that's that. I did what I, right. So, okay, thank you for coming. This is just in the nick of time. So this is, Host on Howard LLC doing business as Host on Howard at 21 Howard Street. It's an on-premise catering facility license. And you want to do a class change to on-premise from wine. So you can come up to the microphone here. I guess hand out your. Has anything changed since it was emailed in or no? No, okay.
Basically, blew up the photos, got larger, taking the
Yeah, my name's Adam.
Okay, hang on 1 sec. Okay.
Yes. So nothing has changed in terms of the operation that we had proposed running when we first came to this community board a couple of years ago, well, about a year and a half ago. It took us a little bit longer to get the facility open than we had hoped. We actually only opened in the fall.
Okay.
But thus far, it's been a resounding success. We have hosted 4 events at the facility. One was a movie shoot that lasted for a couple of days, so there wasn't actually any guests. One was a flower show with a group that's called Pop-Up Florist, which was a very cool event in which they posted post boxes all around the city and collected people's letters that they had written to anonymous loved ones and sort of connected those with floral arrangements. And they had an event in which during the evening they had an event with wine and food, and then the next day they had just people coming through the show. And then we had 2 events that were events that we threw. One was in connection to Lunar New Year. It was also an association to a woman that had an opening at the Whitney for later in the week. And then we also had an event that was really our opening event. So thus far, we've not really thrown a ton of events, but we already recognize 2 things. One is that there is an interest in having full liquor options. And 2, we had originally come to the board and agreed on stipulations of only having 4 events per month, which is perfectly fine. We're very happy with that. We thus far don't think that we'd be doing more than 1 or 2 a month, but also that we had said that we would have no more than 50 people, which thus far has proved limiting to being able to offer events to third-party groups. We'd like to do 2 things. One is request approval for a full liquor license instead of just beer and wine. And 2, we'd like to request at least the discussion of increasing the stip for the number of people allowed in this space from 50 to 120. The reason that we believe that should be acceptable is that the overall occupancy load for the space is closer to 170 to 200, depending on which parts of the DOB maths you use. But in terms of the number of people in this space, we've had to limit it, obviously, and we believe that we could get more people in this space for certain types of events.
Okay.
Like, for example, when we were doing the pop-up florist event, there was a queue out the door and we could only limit the number of people in there. Granted, there was flowers all over the place and we didn't want them to be knocking them over anyway, so we're probably going to limit it to less than 50, but they are from the outside.
75.
Yeah, that was initially when we were first proposing to the DOB. Ultimately, they ended up coming back to us and saying, look, you can do more than that, provided that you provide 2 means of egress and provide 2 lavatories as per plumbing code, which we went about and did.
So now, does that mean patrons will be using the downstairs or how?
And that is generally how it's working. Yeah. People are using the upstairs bathroom, which is handicapped accessible, and then there's a downstairs bathroom as well.
Okay. So
Where does it show your new occupancy?
It doesn't necessarily. I guess it was more that I was coming here for a conversation about the stipulation, not necessarily suggesting that it's something that we needed to have. It was just sort of a nice to have.
Well, you had just said that the DOB said you could do it, but generally they show what your maximum occupancy
Yeah,
is.
I could bring, I don't have
on-
those documents with me. I apologize.
I think that's what we would like to see is, I mean, irregardless of what we're okay with is
Yep.
what they're okay with.
Totally fair. And I'd
Um,
be happy to come next month with those documents, as long as it was something that this board would entertain.
Do you want to lay this over or do you want, how should we, because I don't know that, I mean, somebody else can speak, but I don't know that we're comfortable with the one. I also did not have that on the agenda for anybody.
Fair
So
enough.
I don't know if any, that's to me, that's the type of thing that people
Might.
might want to be commenting on. It's a
Fair
big
enough.
difference between 50 people coming and going for an
And-
event
yeah.
than 120 people coming and going for an
Yes.
event.
I just think the key thing is that because if you do a larger number, there's sort of from life safety and fire safety,
Yes.
there's additional requirements to have that occupancy inside.
Yeah.
And that's why if it's anything, it's triggered if it's anything above 74.
Yes.
And so if you're actually going to have the events, that's what
Yep.
is important. And it's also, I think Commissioner DeLeon at the State Liquor Authority has personally taken an interest in public safety with
Very much so.
with occupancy,
Yep.
because I think in some of his prior experiences, he's seen the consequence of not having the proper certifications
Yep.
and safety measures.
Fair enough.
And so it's, we just want to make sure that that's been signed off and okay.
Completely fair enough. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'd be happy to waylay this until next month. I can bring the full DOB documents. I know that when we constructed the space, we do have 2 means of egress. We have full exit signs for all these means of egress. The space is fully sprinklered. It is a safe space relative to the occupancy that we're proposing. But let me bring those.
yeah, so what it becomes
Yeah.
is that it needs to be reflected on the certificate of occupancy.
Yep.
And or on a place of assembly permit. So a
Yep.
place of assembly permit for any space inside that people gather
Yep.
more than 75 people or more requires a place of assembly permit, which
Yep.
which has a little bit higher threshold or has a higher threshold of submissions, which is consistent with what you're talking about, but
Yep.
that's the document
Fair enough.
because it's a place of assembly
Yep.
that that would have that. So
Yep. Okay. Can I just ask, whilst I'm here, is there any concern about us requesting the change from beer and wine to full liquor? Just to kind of separate out the
mean-
two for now.
yeah, I would just say I think that what Donna had said, the way it was put on the calendar was this operation, so it's hard for us to answer because we don't know if anybody else.
Fair enough.
Would have a problem with
You
the
know,
increase.
it's a larger.
Yeah.
Oh, but I don't, yes, I don't myself instinctively have any problem with that change. However, I want to look in context of what does it mean to have the liquor and a much larger crowd and see community impact. And, you know, as Paul was saying, I agree with you on that.
Fair enough. We reached out to the Broadway Coalition,
Okay.
which technically we're not exactly in their jurisdiction. We fall just outside of their jurisdiction. We're sort of at the way in which the map's drawn.
Yeah.
It reaches the corner of Crosby
right.
and just past it.
Past that.
But we've reached out to them regardless and asked them to comment on this
Okay.
application. We can certainly make more outreach to them and try to get their support.
Did they know about the increase in numbers?
We basically told them that this is what we're trying to do.
Okay.
And so we'll be more explicit about
Yeah.
that and make sure that when they provide that support, provided that they provide that support,
Yeah.
that they're specifically noting that.
Okay. And do you have somebody else they should reach out to?
And I think that's the main,
Yeah.
I would think that be able to reach everybody, but one other issue, and I just know from hearing from this community, because, you know, there's a variety of different type of permitting.
Yeah.
For different things, and there are a lot of pop-up events, et cetera, which go through a different community committee on our community board.
Yeah.
But the main thing is the later the hour. And so it
Yeah.
may be that if you have larger events that for
Triggers
those
it.
larger events, it's a little earlier.
Sure.
That's the main
Which would-
concern
which would-
here, you
Yeah.
know, because as you know, after 9 o'clock,
Yes,
it's a very quiet community.
yes, yes.
And, you know, which is very different from earlier. And that seems to be the consistent theme.
Yep.
That the community in all areas around here is the, whatever it is that's big,
Yep,
that it's during the times when you expect it to be noisy,
sure.
as opposed to the later parts.
Yep.
When they expect it to be more quiet.
Yeah, and thus far, we don't have a
so-
problem with the stipulation that we had agreed to before. And also out of the 4 events that we have had, 2 of them were cleared out by 10 and the other 2 were cleared out by 11. So we weren't even pushing the length of it, and I don't think that we would. It's just not that kind of space. And I think you can tell from the photos, it's a buttoned up, fairly, you know, well-heeled isn't really the right word. We're trying to reach a design community, an art community. It's mostly people that have other things to do for the rest of their evening.
I was just suggesting that if you reach out to them and you say there are larger numbers, you might want to consider that the exchange is perhaps ending those events a little earlier if they
Yeah,
are that.
if it is larger, yeah, maybe
And
it's
if
over a
they're
certain number.
smaller, that it remains the same, just as a.
I think we'd be amenable to that.
As a compromise?
Yeah.
I would also suggest more of community, do your community involvement with and make sure that the people that will be affected also know what the plans are, especially as you're.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so will you send the office or have your attorney send the office just notification that you're gonna lay this over until next month and then
Yes.
do that?
And bring back DOB drawings and
Yeah.
substantiating.
Yeah, or just your approval, like
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
Yep.
Problem.
Okay, great.
Great.
Thanks for coming. I'm
Thank
glad
you
made
for
it
having me.
so
And
that
again,
we-
I thank you for waiting.
Yeah. Well,
Thanks.
unfortunately- Okay, bye. Okay, so do we need to take a break before we go into? Okay, so we will take a break from.
It is. It's almost blocked.
Get that bar, walk briskly, get that exercise. I was
Look here, Donna, that's that.
Very good.
Where's that coming from?
The
Oh, okay. Don't know what to do.
Scary. Anything through the whole time. Dr. Smith, do you want paper clips or, okay, I hate, or last one, remember. I can get them later. Thank you. So it's. You would do, that's the only way to do it. I'm not going to record it in the back. I usually get the, for us, I get the profits, the dark chocolate with the mixed nuts, and then things were quite a lot of things, and then you forget that, and there was a ton of stuff there, and open. Oh, you too, okay, all right, okay, all right, no, all right, yeah, I know. Okay, busy session. Ready? Yeah. Oh, where did he go? Water. We're waiting on you. Let's go, come on. So people need to go. Ta-da.
Let's start voting.
Wait, hang on. Okay. So, the first one was lab 2,
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us here.
Everybody agree on that?
Lab 2, yes.
Okay. Is there anything we need to say about it? I don't think so.
Didn't you, let me see.
88 West Third, you know,
Walk-ins
they're gonna
reservation.
close at, that's the one I changed the hours for them, so they'll close at 11 and 12, okay. All right, the next one that we did was, 6. What did I-
PS,
PST Health, oh, I didn't write down what it was for the 10 people. PST Health,
lifetime.
lifetime, does anybody have any? Huh?
I wish to stop.
Yeah, no, I.
Yeah, I don't know about the success in that space, but
Of
fine.
course, no less.
They might do, look, they have a lot of people that,
There's no elevator there.
no, but.
I don't have any problem.
I don't have it.
No problem at all, I'm happy.
I don't know if that place is still owned by the guy who founded it years ago, the Lifetime
Yeah.
movement he changed it. But, you know, he's, not offended in a minute.
Okay, next one, not a fun.
Oh, no.
All right, so we'll move on. Okay, the next one is Cora.
Ramen.
Yeah, okay, by me.
Okay, nothing I need to say on that. Okay. All right, the next one was the Festive and Company. I think we're gonna have us on that. They worked out everything. I am going to put in there, no outside now or in the future. Just, they can always come, it doesn't stop somebody from coming back, but that I think was important. And I guess there keeps being a little budget on that, I feel like, so I just want
That's the bubbles and bites.
Yeah, yeah. And the private parties, what did he say about that?
I
Because
don't have anything.
24 you agreed to 24
Yeah.
ending after 10
Okay.
PM. That's fine. Okay. Next one, was the Tartinery.
Yeah.
Is that a deny and less, or do we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it
Okay.
is.
And
Yes.
with the
It's
question
10
of,
PM
I'll
outside,
put the 10
but,
PM outside.
but
and-
the caveat on that is that the submission they make has to be the final approved
the road.
DOT, which includes the FDNY waiver.
Mhm.
And the reason I bring that up is because there's so much confusion on this that the final approved plans, I would, and I think that the authority from what they've shared with us, they want the final approved plans,
Yeah.
which includes whatever
Where
the
the
fire
state-
department restricts them to, because the biggest issue we have is extension beyond what they're supposed to have.
Right.
Right, that's like the biggest complaint that we've gotten all through COVID, are the tables and chairs of it. So we need to know what the demised premises are and what's allowed, and the FDNY presumably is the final.
I would be interested to see what they say with Half Pint and the road bed of Half Pint and Tartinery,
Well,
because they are parallel to each
Yeah,
other.
And it's all Mulberry Street now.
They'll have to make those fire trucks like skinny.
Okay,
Oh, and
so-
you, the road, the sandwich sign.
Oh, right. the
Yeah,
sandwich board.
please.
I will.
What's with their windows? They don't have all the windows.
Oh, and they have open windows.
They do?
Yeah, they have French windows.
The doors, right?
The doors,
Doors.
yeah, French doors.
And I think that's closing yet.
10 PM is what it
Okay,
said.
all right.
Okay. So it's the same steps as before.
Yeah, it's never open past 6 PM. I don't understand that.
So they just might want to be. Okay.
Yeah, well, but you know, I mean, it might. be a
Giving
big
themselves
thing.
some.
They said that the last time. Well,
Right.
anyway, I like.
Okay, so Bonnie, restaurant, I'm not okay with that. I mean, I do wish people from that building had, you know, but it just, he has hardly had the license. It sounds like he wants the license for all the reasons actually that we wouldn't
Right,
want to.
make more money
to
on
make more
drinks.
money.
The biggest
It's not
concern here, right,
The
is
noise.
the impact on the noise and
Right.
residents on these small blocks. And the fact that we already have some complaints from just the warmer weather is a big concern. And I think that's all I would want to see is that they can operate
Right.
for a period of time outside without any issues from their neighbors before weighing in on this. It's also previously licensed as a significant saturation in the area. And there's also a significant loss of retail stores. So there's a lot of overlying.
When did they get their beer and wine? They just got it in November. They got the temp in the middle of the summer, and that's the residents, the letter we got from the residents, which was in the draw, it must be in the past history, I think, in the draw.
I think
from
it's
what I found,
too soon.
is that they said that those complaints, the residents at their meeting said they started hearing all this noise
Mhm.
when they opened. It was very, they were very specific to do that, so.
I would go along with deny until they grow up.
You should list the 4311.
Then, yeah.
What did Anthony say? I'm sorry.
List the 4311 complaints. Okay, so we're all deny on that one. And then the last one. No, is Socian, is not the last one, so Socian is denying less.
Yeah.
But I do, on that one, we do need to put in the improper conduct, and that he did say
Improper
that he
conduct.
would stop it right away.
Yeah.
Free booze, free.
That needs to go
Well,
to the.
BYOB and some complimentary.
Free booze.
Okay. And if you could include in the stipulations that they won't. Obviously, the
BOB.
people, they can't do BYOB beyond their
Yeah.
license lots.
Mhm. Put that in steps.
Yes.
Beyond their license lot, and it's issued.
Okay, so that's a denial less though. Okay, and then the Howard one is put over. Any new business? You're not,
Just what we had talked about.
we had talked about. And,
And then if you just have my recusal. so you have to-
oh yeah,
Previously.
yeah, yep.
But
Refusal, so that's the first. I wrote,
2, 3, 4.
yeah, 2 through 5. Everybody's okay on the ones that we waived the appearance, is that?
Yeah.
Okay,
I have no problems with that.
okay,
I just want to note that it should be DOT-NYC-Open Streets, not DO
where's that wrong?
in the name.
That's.
Oh, and then the.
And then at the
Siri,
top.
The Mirage LLC. We didn't vote on that. One,
Oh, how did that?
you explained it, but
Oh, Morris, well, that's, okay,
Morris.
well, I just said all the rest of those, that we waived appearance, are we all okay with it? So that's Morris and Gammon, the two of those in addition, so we're denying less on all those ones we waived appearance. Okay, everyone, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're out.
We're out.
Next time I will wear a spring dress.